call the Honourable Nathan Guy.
Chair, I think the contribution of members across the House this afternoon, I think it's important that I make some comments. There's been a few questions posed this afternoon. One of those was from, I think it was Jacinda Ardern, that was commenting about the removal of Clause 66, whether in fact that meant that private investigators will have more power than the police. That is not the case. The police have specific powers set out in the Policing Act of 2008. Private investigators, like any other licence or certificate holder, have no more powers than the general public. So I hope the member seeks some reassurance from that. It's captured in Clause 101 of the bill. In terms of the Code of Conduct, there were some questions around that in terms of drafting and who will be consulted. It's my intention that the Privacy Commissioner will be consulted, that the Law Commission will indeed be consulted, and that key stakeholders will be consulted through that process. And of course, once the Law Commission have done their big piece of work on privacy, which could take 2 years, to be frank, then there's an opportunity for that code to be amended if it's necessary once that piece of work is done. And of course, we also need to be aware of the fact that the Privacy Act of 1993 can't be overridden in that process. There was also, I think, some comments around the discretion of licensing, and the bill gives the authority some discretion to grant a licence or certificate even if a disqualification ground applies. I think the important thing here is that the discretion is used in exceptional circumstances where evidence, and it would have to be strong evidence, is provided to the authority that the person's background or indeed their character or their circumstances means that they are suitable for the role despite their conviction or their disqualification criteria. And there was also a comment which I thought was interesting around the community patrols, because if you think about community patrols, as I understand them, most of those people, I think all of them, are volunteers, and volunteers aren't captured under this regime. So if they do operate in-house, i.e. they're not employed by a licence holder, then they're not captured unless, of course, they are a crowd controller. And I have had the SOP dropped on the table before, so I look forward to hearing some comments from the Honourable David Carter about that. Parker.